Hello everyone, welcome to another Gypsy Jazz Top 10 with Chris and Brett. My name is Chris.
And I'm Brad. And today's episode is going to be about something we've kind of all experienced while we've been playing and practicing. And it's about being stuck in a rut. And that's kind of to say when you're blocked and you feel like there's not really much to do or you don't have inspiration.
Right, maybe you're burned out.
Yeah,
you're practicing or on Gypsy Jazz in general. Right?
Yeah, and you don't know how to progress.
Right.
You don't know where to go, what direction to go. So we kind of have a list of 10 tips to really break through this. Okay? So we're going to go straight to number 10.
Our number 10 is a solution that many people gravitate towards. I mean, I did it, and I'm sure you did it, Brett, and a lot of people I know did it, and that is buying new equipment. And that goes all the way from buying a new guitar to buying a new amp or a new pick or just some new toys to play around with.
Yeah, and we want to preface all of this, and this is kind of why it's our number 10 on the list and not our number 1 or number 2, is because a lot of people, when they lack inspiration or something, the first thing they think of is, if I buy this new expensive guitar, it's gonna fix all my problems.
Right.
Or if I buy this new cool pick, then I'm gonna really feel, I'm gonna move forward in my skills, you know?
And I have to say, but it is easy to buy new guitars. I think there's a name for it, right? What is the name of, like, when you're addicted to buying guitars?
It's like a medical illness?
Yeah, it's like guitar buyer syndrome or something. There's a name for it.
I know a couple people that are diagnosed with this,
right.
For sure.
And when I played violin only, I didn't have this because violins are so expensive and they're hard to get by. You have to try them, but guitars you can order them online. And there's so many different guitars. You have electric guitars, art stops, Stratocasters, Gypsy Jazz guitars, and it seems like an easy solution. But why is this not the best solution, Brad?
I don't think it's the best solution because why you gotta?
But it works. First, let's say it works. Well,
but maybe you don't have the money to buy a new
right.
guitar, and also when you buy a new guitar, it doesn't change anything about your playing ability.
That's true.
And it's kind of if you're uninterested, if you lose interest in, say, your typical Gypsy Jazz guitar, and then you buy a new electric guitar, it's kind of almost like a short-term solution,
right?
And an expensive short-term solution.
But it works because it's. The thing why it's a positive thing is that it could inspire you to start practicing again
and to get out of the rut.
So, but then go for I mean, if you have a lot of money, who cares? But if you want to take care of your finances, even a new pick can change things, or a new string gauge,
or just changing strings.
Yeah, it's strings. Yeah, that's true. So we don't want to rule it out completely. But be aware, don't just buy any guitar out of the internet just because you think you need it. But it can definitely work because it can inspire you to practice.
Yeah, exactly.
Right?
Huh?
Let's go to our number 9.
Number 9 is another tip that sometimes it's actually really helpful, and it's taking a break. And this means kind of putting your guitar down for maybe a day or a couple days or even a week. And it really kind of freshens everything up again when you grab it back, you know?
Yeah, it seems very obvious, but for me, at least, I start to feel guilty a little bit. Like, I'm wasting my time, I should practice. But I felt, that's another weird thing, maybe other people have noticed that too, that if you've practiced a lot, like 2 weeks non-stop, a lot of practice, and you take a little break for 2 days, maybe 1 day or 3 days, you pick up the guitar again, and it seems like you improved.
Yeah.
And there seems to be this theory that your brain needs more time to learn new things. Mm-hmm. So if you give yourself a break, then your brain will catch up with your all your practicing, and then you even became better in that time to take a break.
Yeah, that's a good point.
Yeah.
And then also I think that a lot of times when people are stuck in a rut, it could be because they're a little bored. Right. Something. So if you put it away and you don't touch it, then when you grab it back, you think, oh wow, this is it's a little more it's a little newer.
Right.
A little, you know?
So you can take the term taking a break. You can take in many ways. Like you can not touch your guitar and do something else. But another thing of taking a break, you could take a break from Gypsy Jazz guitar, right? And just take your guitar and learn a lick in a completely different music.
like 80s hair metal.
Just play some power chords for a day. You know,
Yeah.
could also be a taking a break.
Yeah, and some people do that now in Gypsy Jazz.
Yeah.
Okay, so now we're going to go ahead on to our next one, number 8.
Number 8. So let's say you don't want to take a break. You're still in a rut, but it's not so much that you need to put the guitar away. You still want to play something, but you don't want to do the mentally taxing stuff like learning a new solo or learning some complicated lick. And that is, so we have a solution for that, is working on your technique. And I'm talking about like exercises that don't involve anything with brain power. It's just working on your right and left hand technique for 30 minutes.
Yeah, and exactly what you were saying is if you feel too guilty about putting away your guitar, or your wallet is completely empty so you can't buy like a new Gypsy, you know? So what you can do is just working on technique, because I agree with you that it's really helpful because you're not thinking, and you don't, because when we feel stuck in a rut, we're always thinking, what should I do next? What should I do? Just sit in front of a list of exercises, and it's not completely mindless, but it's really, it's not hard on you. You just sit down, and it's like following a rule. You just follow the rule, you don't ask questions, and you know it's going to improve your playing.
Put a metronome maybe, you play with a metronome, and I don't want to promote my own videos, but I have a series called Q&A with Christiaan, and number 2 has 5 technique exercises that don't require any musical knowledge or knowing anything about chords. It's just exercises for your left and right hand. It takes 20 minutes to 30 minutes to do them, and then you did some real solid work without taxing your right.
And one thing that's never going to change is we're always going to need to work on technique.
That's
so
true.
It's never going to be wasted time. It's just almost like a little vacation. And waltzes that you already know, for example, are a great way to practice this and still have a little fun.
Right. Yeah, good tip. Let's go to our number 7.
This next one is taking the previous tip to the complete extreme. And we're calling this one messing around, which is to say that we're just going to sit down and not think about anything. Try to be zen. Just grab the guitar and just play whatever nonsense you can think of. It's not about playing something that sounds nice over a tune or anything. It's just literally you sitting there thinking, what can I fit here? I'm just going to go for it. I'm just going to go straight for it. I don't care what I think. I don't care what other people think.
Yeah,
I just want to have fun.
The way I do it, because I actually try to end all my practice sessions that way. Mm-hmm. It's just put on a backing track to a song I like and just go for it. And I'm not judging myself. It's not like, that didn't work, or I need to be able to play this scale over this chord. No, who cares? Just trying to play something nice, and I acknowledge when it's nice, and when it's not nice, who cares,
Yeah, and sometimes, I notice that, okay, if I'm playing a guitar, and sometimes if I'm just, sitting back, relaxing with the guitar, I'm, super relaxed, I'm just thinking, okay, I'm gonna play, and then sometimes some new cool things come out of it, Because I'm not thinking, I'm not occupied at all, I'm just very relaxed, I'm just playing along in the background.
What I like to do is even put on a Django recording and just play along with Django. Just play completely garbage solo
over his solo,
over his work
of art.
It's like we're soloing together. Just messing around. Don't be judgmental.
Yeah.
That's it.
And it's a good tip.
Yeah. Nice. Let's go to number 6. Number 6 is actually a tip that I've been using recently when I'm kind of frustrated. And that's because there's a remastered edition of the classic Hot Club recordings with Django. And I actually was a present Stoffel gave it to me, and I've been listening to it non-stop, and it was so inspiring. And the reason why is because this is the reason why I'm playing the music. So I'm going back to the source, and I'm listening to him play, being very creative. So this tip is just listening intently to Django.
Yeah, going back to the source of the matrix. But the thing is because we can all listen to other players, and we all listen to other players, but no one comes even close to that kind of feeling of magic when you hear Django.
Yeah.
And that's what really inspired this whole genre. So if you go straight to the source, it's almost impossible not to get inspired. So when you're frustrated and you can't think of what should I do, just listen to Django, and he will tell you what to do.
And for more reasons than one, because one of the big reasons is there's a lot of great players, and they have great technique, and it's really flashy, and it could actually kind of frustrate you more. It's like, I would never be able to do it, but there's so many Django recordings where he's just playing a really simple solo, but it's beautiful.
Yeah, exactly.
And the whole band is great, of course. So I found it very inspiring. Actually, I remember sitting in the car with Alban, and we were just listening for 1 hour. We were at the location where we had to be. We spent 1 hour extra just listening to Django and marvel at it and being very inspired when we left the car. So
because it also helps because sometimes we think, man, I don't have enough licks or I don't have enough things to do on this this chord progression. It's frustrating, and you think, okay, I got to learn more licks. But then when you listen to Django, you can see how someone can do so much with so little.
That's true.
And so it makes us feel. It should make you feel. Oh, wait a second. Then that means I could play a solo like this too with correct thinking. I could go for it.
Let's go to our next one.
Our next tip highlights the importance of YouTube. It's playing such a huge role in teaching this, not just this style of music, but all styles of music. And so our tip is to go out there, well, actually you don't have to go out there because it's YouTube, sit in your PJs and subscribe to as many Gypsy Jazz YouTube channels as you possibly can. Like you have Keith Booth, and you have French Ratatouille. These guys cover so many concerts in Paris. Patris always films festivals and actual concerts. And this way you're always getting a constant feed of new content, of new things to watch, and it's very inspiring.
Yeah, because I like actually finding my favorite or discovering new artists or finding my favorite artist and just see live performances of them having fun and giving their best. So what I actually do, and I think you do it too, is I download great clips or performances to a folder on my computer, and then sometimes I transfer them to my phone or my iPad, and then when I'm bored or I'm in a line, I just watch those performances, and it's really inspiring. When I do that, actually, I want to go home immediately and start practicing again.
Oh, it's when you're driving on the freeway, just watch a little quick video. But yeah, it's funny because when you say that, sometimes I don't feel like playing. I don't feel like playing today, for example, and then I start watching a video of someone playing on YouTube, and then in 30 seconds, I go to grab my guitar.
Yeah,
I don't even think about it. I just go to grab my guitar, and then all of a sudden, I just played an hour or 2 hours that day.
Right.
So that's why we really want to stress the importance of how helpful this can be.
Yeah, YouTube, very, very great source for inspiration.
Yeah, the best.
The best.
Yeah. Okay, so we're gonna go ahead to our next one, number 4.
Number 4 is a little bit more creative. It is composing a new song.
Yeah, this is something I do a lot when I don't know what to do or what to work on. I sit around and I think, okay, I'm going to try to just write a song. And it really makes you step back and think, what's a typical Gypsy Jazz sound? And it makes you think of all these other things. And it's creative, so it's very fun.
Yeah, and it may sound daunting, like I have to come up with chords and then a theme. But in fact, there's several ways of doing it. But an easy way or a fun way is just taking a set of changes that already exist that you like. Let's say Them Their Eyes, you like those changes, and see if you can come up with a new catchy tune, a catchy theme. And the advantage is it's like improvising, but it's really slow improvising. It's like you think about what can fit on this chord, what can I put over the next 2 chords that kind of fit with the first thing, right?
Yeah.
Or even easier is just taking a vamp, like a vamp rotating 4 chords that keep repeating, and write something catchy on that.
Yeah, and it's funny, and it's a really good tip because, for example, there's maybe like a million jazz tunes, but 50 chord progressions.
Right, that's true.
So don't feel guilty.
No,
about
Django did it.
Yeah.
Charlie Parker did it.
Yeah.
I mean, all those tunes that Charlie Parker wrote, they're actually chords of old jazz standards, right?
Or for example, if you want to be a little halfway in between, you want to be like Django, just take a totally normal standard and just add 1 chord, a half step up, and now you have a whole new song and you're super modern,
So that I think it's creative to do, it's fun to do, and you can end up with a new song to play.
Yeah, it's great too.
And if you use chords that everybody already knows, then everybody can immediately play the song. Because you can say, just play the chords, then the rise, and you have this cool new theme.
Yeah.
Let's go to our next tip. Our number 3 is kind of an obvious one, but still needs to be mentioned, and it is something that I particularly love, and it is jamming with other people. So I just scour the internet to see if there are local jams, or maybe I have to travel a little bit, but I know that when I go there and I meet other people, like-minded people, and we can just jam out some tunes and having fun, then I remember the reason why I'm actually studying the music is just to play music with other people.
Yeah, and it really gets you back. It gets you back to being really enthusiastic,
Right.
because then you start to remember, oh, this is actually a really fun thing to do. And sometimes, even if sometimes it's difficult to go to like a organized jam. Maybe you're working that day, or you're busy.
Or there are no jams.
Yeah, or there are no jams, and that way, you should try to even host a jam, or just arrange a jam at someone's house or at your house, and sometimes. That absolutely works, and it's the exact same result. You don't have to go to like the jam in New York or the jam in Paris. Yeah. You can just meet up with the same exact musicians, have some drinks or hang out and just play, and then you have the same exact result, and it's much easier to organize.
And the fun thing is, then you don't need to judge. I mean, people are not judging you in the jam, right? And you can try out stuff in the jam, and if it fails, who cares? And because the difference is when you're at home and the goal is to play this one thing on the backing track, and you fail, then you can feel bad. But in the jam, it's just about having fun, and you can still try all the same things.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
So, great tip.
Number 2. Our second tip is going to concerts, and this is something that both of us have really used in order to really kind of push us forward. It really pushes you in terms of being really inspired, because there have been a lot of times where, say, I'm taking a break and I haven't played guitar in a few days and I'm just really not feeling it, and then I'll go see a concert, and then I see the end, like not the end result, but I see the end result of my practice. If it's someone really good, I saw Brelly recently in Paris, and I was thinking, okay, I want to go back home and try this out, or I want to try that out. And it really shows you everything, like, haha, if you work hard and practice, there you go. You can maybe get this,
Yeah, I guess what happens a lot to a lot of musicians, or it happened to me, let's say it happened to me, that I'm very used to giving concerts, and preparing at home, practicing. But then you forget that going to a concert is a very different feeling. You're in a different role. It's very refreshing to just be there and watch other people perform for you. Yeah. And that would inspire me then again to go home and practice to do the same thing for other people.
Yeah, right? Exactly. And it's even different than going to a jam. It's like it's more of a serious setting, and you're really just there to watch.
Yeah. And even it's a little bit further. You don't even have to go to Gypsy jazz concerts. Sometimes I just like to go to normal jazz concerts, or even I went to the symphony. I mean, you have to love classical music, but it was also fun to see those musicians perform. Yeah. So just generally going out to concerts. Of course, especially Gypsy jazz concerts.
Mm-hmm, exactly.
Could be very helpful.
And I mean, and if you see like just a regular jazz concert, you could be thinking in the back of your head, oh man, there should be a loud pomp in the back.
Yeah,
right
there. Why are they playing everything in E flat?
Yeah, what is this?
Just playing D, guys.
Nonsense. And then you start to remember how cool D is, and then you go home and play something in D.
Yeah. So it's time for our number 1 tip.
The ultimate one. Our number 1 tip to really get yourself unstuck and to really push yourself forward and to start thinking about how to progress more is going to festivals. And we feel that festivals is kind of the culmination of every single thing we just said before. Yeah. Everything in our previous list, it happens in a festival.
Yeah, because I go to the festival either driving or flying, listening to Django, right? And then I'm there, and there's concerts, and there's other people to jam with, and there's workshops, and you meet.
And you can buy guitars.
Right, and you can buy guitars, and you meet so many people that are having the exact same experience as you have. Because sometimes when you're at home, it's like, I must be the only one practicing and not progressing. Yeah. I mean, that feels like that. Yeah. But then there are so many people there that are the exact same way, and then you see them a year later, and they progressed, and they say to you, hey man, you became a lot better this past year. That's a good feeling. In fact, if I go to Samoa or another festival, I'm usually inspired enough for a couple of months even, just by going to one festival, and then the moment I start getting really frustrated, there's another festival to go to.
Yeah, I mean, just saying the word Samoa gets me 2 days.
Yeah.
But I know a lot of players that the yearly festival, it's really something they push for, and they think, oh man, I got to get better for the next festival, because everyone else is going to be better, and they're going to be there.
Yeah.
So and of course that's the other side of pushing. It's out of stress and competition, but it pushes you nonetheless.
And there's a bunch of festivals. You don't have to go to every festival, and so that's very important. And a tip to see what the festival is about and which one would be good for you. Because you can afford to fly all over the world. Well, some people can fly for free, but if you want to go to the festival, then say, okay, let's go to Django in June, because it's a lot about teaching, and there's of course the performances. I go to Samoa and see all the masters play. I go to Django Fest Northwest, and it's in a beautiful environment, and you can jam outside, and there's great concerts. So there's different choices for different tastes.
The next time you're sitting on your couch and you're thinking, I have no idea what to do anymore, I'm getting a little bored with this kind of music, start to think about all the tips that we gave you, and hopefully all of these together will push you out, because they've pushed us out several times.
Right, and because the worst thing that can happen, and it happened to people I have heard, is burning out completely and never returning to gypsy jazz or even playing guitar. So I would advise you, implore you, if you feel stuck, just look at this list. I think it's a great list. Look at this list and try this stuff out and see if it can inspire you, because I'm sure it will inspire you. One of those tips will inspire you for sure. Right?
Absolutely.
So this was our top 10 tips when you're stuck in a rut, and we hope to see you at the next top 10.
All right, see you everyone.